Hey everybody, it's Brian Terry and from the Disability Digest. Last week was my first go live session, and by popular demand, I'm back. So this week I have collected 4 questions that have been submitted by our members here. And if you're not a member of thedisabilitydigest.com, I invite you to come on over. It's free. We teach you how to get your benefits, then maximize your disability benefits. So I'm going to cover those, and then any questions that the audience has as they trickle in, I would be glad to address those as well. So, first question is, I'll speak in general terms. People get approved for their disability benefits. This one was from Mary, and they expect to have this windfall of back benefits because they've been out of work for 12 months, 18 months, or however long. But when they get approved, Social Security says, well, you know what? You weren't disabled for that whole period of time, and we're only going to give you 10 months worth of back benefits versus the 24 that you should have gotten. So that could be the difference between, 10 months at 20,000 or 24 months at 48,000. It's a pretty significant difference. So the question is, what do you do? Can you argue it? Can you fight it? Well, sure you can. But in the circles that I travel in, and what I've seen when people do argue it, is Social Security will go. They could go totally radical on you and just stop your benefits and say, well, you know what? We have changed our mind and we're not going to, Marlo, welcome. We're not going to award you your benefits. I know one individual in Maine who said she was advised of the risks and she said, you know what? I'm going to go for it. I feel that this is not right what has been done to me. So they totally stopped her benefits. And she had to go back in and go through the process, go to court, and she got all of her benefits. She did indeed win, and that was a true success story. So what I'll do is there's a recent interview that I had with Michael Hatterton, who had a great success story. He recovered all of his money on his own without any legal representation, and it's a fantastic story. So point is, it can be done. I think what you need to do is balance the risk reward. Are you willing to jeopardize having your benefits stopped? Um, or, if you are and then going for it, then hey, have at it. So I hope you find that helpful. The next one is taxes, and I have a prompt on this. I just want to go through the tax regulations for Social Security benefits. So hang on 1 minute. I'll be back with you. I'm just going to pull this up here. So it is tax season, and people want to know, should I pay taxes? I mean, right? So, but I'm not a tax guy, but I'm just going to read to you what the regulations are. So if you're first awarded your disability benefits, or if you're expecting to be awarded, like you're somebody who's going to get that maybe 10 or 20 or $48,000, you may have to pay taxes. As part of your back benefits. And if you're single and your total income is more than 25,000, then that's one criteria. Or if you're married and you and your spouse have a total income of more than 32,000, then you would be subject to paying some taxes on that. So again, I'm not a tax guy. I help people get their benefits, maximize them. That's what we do. So please consult the tax person. Oh, there's one more piece on this that we've been getting questions on. Like, if I earn money, do I need to report it to Social Security? Do I need to pay taxes on it? Absolutely, you do. It's earned income. Make sure that you take advantage of all of your tax write-offs that you can get, that we've covered on this YouTube channel, and the lessons that you get as a Disability Digest member, so that you're paying the least amount of taxes. Okay, so let's see. Next one is a question from Paul that I'm going to pull up on my other screen here, so I'm not running away on you. I just want to go through it here. And Ronnie, oh, okay, I see Jeffrey here. Yeah, if you have questions, while I'm going through these items, you can feel free to fire them up. I'll answer them I'll try to answer them when I'm done here. Okay, so this is from Paul, and his question is, when reviews happen, how far back will SSA look at our medical notes and analyze your ongoing disability? So what Paul is speaking of is once you're approved for disability, in your award letter, you'll see that you're subject to a review, maybe 3 years, maybe a year. Some people, maybe it's not mentioned at all. So what does that look like? First of all, not everybody gets reviewed. There's like 11% of the people is what the statistics are for Social Security that get reviewed, but it's going up. And the reason why it's going up is they're finding the reviews successful and that people should not be on benefits. So the question is, if you have a review and you're contacted for your review, how far back will they look? I really don't know. My hunch is, if I have to guess at this, and I'm sure maybe there's some expert out there that knows this. Actually, I have not found an expert in the continuing disability arena review. I'd love to find one that I could interview. But if you look at it similar to your Social Security disability initial application, they look at the last 12 months. So my hunch is that it would be similar to that. It would be the last 12 months that they're going to look at. And so the next thing is, do they go through all or just an example? No, I answered that one. Okay, so what's involved? Do you have to go through all the medical tests and all that? So when you think about going through the approval process, typically what happens is an individual has to go through an exam at one of the doctors for Social Security doctors, and sometimes they go through a physical exam, and oftentimes they'll also go through an exam for mental. So do you have to go back through those? And I would say no, and not in all instances. Excuse me, because the first step is they're going to review your medical records. And if your medical records demonstrate that you are being treated and that your conditions are there and your doctor's notes are all fine, it goes away. I mean, just like that. So that's the key thing to avoid problems in these areas, is to just stay in treatment, follow the directions that we provide you, how to communicate with your doctor as you're a member here at the Disability Digest, and optimistically you would be fine. Where the problems come in is people stop doctoring. You're like, hey, I got approved, no problem, I'm not going to go to the doctors anymore. Ooh, not good for your benefits. Because when you get reviewed, they're like, hey, you know what, if you're going to the doctors, you probably work. So you're not going to the doctors. So you want to go to the doctors. Or don't make too much money. That's another problem. Okay, so I have one more item I want to go through. The next one is, I want to know if there's anybody out there that has recently tried to go back to work, find work, and has been unsuccessful, specifically in this area. If you have applied for jobs, tried to get jobs, tried to do work, what's the limitations been that you've experienced? There's actually a fair amount of jobs out there. We have alliances with different companies. They're aggressively looking to hire. But we see that people trying to get back to work from our population here at the Disability Digest, that they've been out of work for a few years and their skills are not in line. So we're trying to drill down on this to figure out what we can do, if anything, to help people better prepare before they go and they find that ideal job and they think they're ready for it, but their skill set's not in line. So anything you can put in the comments that we could gather for this would be really helpful. So do that. So let's see. So I see Jeffrey has a question. He listed a condition and asked if it's an automatic approval in Alabama? This is a great question. And I'm going to speak generically about the condition because there's 14 different listing criterias from Social Security. And those listings are geared towards when a case comes through and somebody has that and they have that condition, that it's then looked at for what is the degree of severity of that condition. So, for example, number one on that list of listings is muscular skeletal. And somebody has a bad back. Now, one person has a bad back, could be different than another person, the degree of severity of it. So, no automatic approvals. It depends on the condition, the degree of severity, and I'll even take it a step further, is that it depends on how the degree of severity is documented in your medical records. So think about this. You have the condition, whatever it is, it's severe, but your doctor's notes are just listing that you have the condition. They're not demonstrating to Social Security that it has the limitations on you. So these are things that you need to be aware of people that are entitled to benefits, but they're not properly documented. And at the very first phase of the approval process with Social Security, it's really all about your medical records. You don't have a chance to go in front of a judge and communicate that. So thanks. That's been a great question. So anyway, listen, unless there's any other questions, I'm going to wrap here. And thank you for joining the live session out there, everybody. And I'm going to try to do this once a week. Pop out here and just take the week's questions that I accumulate and share them with everybody out there. So listen, if you're looking for more assistance, if you're looking to get your disability benefits, or if you're looking to maximize your disability benefits, you're already on them, you want to know how to, stretch your check, make more money, go back to work, can you get any more benefits in your area, anything like that, that's what we do here at the Disability Digest. If you're not currently a member, join us. Go to thedisabilitydigest.com. I'll put a link below. Also, if you're a member here and you've got one of these needs, just reply to one of the email or contact support at the Disability Digest and type in. We've got a team here that you can get on the phone with in some instances, or we can get you information that can help you out. Having the membership here is one thing. Using it, of course, is another. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this segment. I am going to hang out. I see there's a few more questions here. And I've got to do my laundry today. I'm going to do it before lunch, eat my lunch. So anyway, but let's see. Jeffrey. Okay. I had 2 back surgeries, pins and screws. All right. This is Marlo. That's a statement. I don't know if there's a question with it, but I'd be glad to answer one if there is. I've been approved for medical retirement from my job. Is this good or bad? This is a great question. This is from Shimon. Shimon? I don't know how you pronounce that, but it certainly is a good indication, but I'll share this with you. What the regulations are for your medical for work, I don't know if they're the same as Social Security. With Social Security, you have to prove if you're under 50 that you cannot do any job. If you're over 50, then you need to prove that you likely cannot do your work if you've had a solid work history. So I'll give you another example. We've had individuals here that have been rated 100% disabled by the Veterans Administration. 2 combat vets recently that we've been working with. And so that means that they're unemployable. They are not able to work. But those 2 individuals, we have not been able to get approved for disability yet, for 2 different reasons. But so the standards are different, and it doesn't mean that if you're approved for one, you're approved for another. It's a good indication. Like some people get long-term disability benefits from work, and those long-term disability benefits may be benefits issued for your occupation, not for any occupation. Okay. Let's see. That was a great question. Okay, perfect. All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for being a great audience, coming out, turning out on this Friday. Wishing everybody well. Until the next time. Peace.